Hey everybody, just hopping in here real quick. Just wanted to get here at the top of our episode this week to acknowledge the very tragic passing that the Big Brother community had this week. Of course, Big Brother 27's Mickey passed this week, very unexpectedly, very tragically. And I know the entire community is really feeling the weight of this loss. Her friends, her family, her fans, anybody that is a fan of the show. This was not obviously not expected. This is very sudden, very tragic. Mickey passed far too young, 35, absolutely too young. So just wanted to hop in here. Our next couple of episodes we already have recorded, so we just wanted to jump in here with the recent news and just say something at the top. But yeah, just wanted to acknowledge that, sending all of our love, our thoughts, our prayers to her loved ones and to anybody that's affected by this. It's really horrible news.
Yeah, this is tough. I was completely shocked. I mean, we had gotten word ahead of time that she had, you know, been suffering from a few cardiac arrests, so we knew that she wasn't particularly well, but still to know that it was this serious that she ends up passing is just unimaginable. So I feel very, very sorry for all of her close friends and family. Because especially at this time of year, I just know that it's got to be so hard to have to deal with that. But the outpouring of love that I've seen online has been very comforting, especially sometimes when our community can be so divisive. It really feels like everyone has decided to just put all the BS aside and just celebrate and respect the life that was just lost. It seems like she had a profound impact on all of her castmates, the alumni that she's met. Julie put out a message for her. Even Alison Grodner put out a message for her. So it just feels like everyone is really, really feeling this loss. So um, yeah, I'm very sad about it. I mean, even with someone like me who hasn't even I didn't really spend a lot of time watching BB27 because of, reasons. And even for me, like just seeing this news was just like earth shattering in a way.
Yeah,
I just couldn't believe it.
yeah.
So yeah.
Just even if it wasn't somebody that we knew, just anybody that's this young, shouldn't be
Mhm.
leaving us on earth this early. I of course want to mention, you had a good sentiment you put out there, and anybody else who's saying the same thing about just, let's be kind, let's be nice to one another, really at all times would be great, but especially right
Yes.
now a lot of people are hurting, a lot of people, people are grieving, people are mourning, people are processing things in their own way, and we should all just be taking care of ourselves and each other as best as we can. So
Yeah, what's kind of unfortunate, but like just another like, reminder is that like when the news came after a bit, I was like, "Oh my god, I hope I didn't say anything, like, too harsh about her on the podcast," and I was like, "Well, you wouldn't have to worry about that if you were just nicer in general." So, again, I think it's just a good practice to just, it's not saying that you can't have opinions about other people, but it's just a reminder to just r add perspective. It's just a game, right? It's just a
exactly.
show that we all enjoy, but at the end of the day, these are real people. They
Yep.
have real lives, and it's just important to always respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's you, a fellow like tweeter, poster in the community, someone that's or somebody from the Big Brother cast community, just everyone is going to be grieving and processing in their own way. So all we can do is encourage everybody to just, again, spread kindness, spread as much love as you possibly can, especially like Amon said, around this time of year, for this to be happening ever at all, let alone this time of year. It's all really hard and it really sucks. So we're sending our love, again, our love, our prayers are everything that we can to anybody that is feeling the magnitude of this. It really is horrible. If just as far as this here is concerned, if you're not looking for Big Brother content right now, if it's too soon, we obviously
Mhm.
understand. Please take care of yourself
Mhm.
first and foremost. Do not worry about this. But if anybody is looking for the comfort of just some light entertainment in the form of Big Brother content, we're still here, and we're still going to be talking about Mickey at some point. And we'll pay her respects. Just because she's unfortunately no longer here with us on Earth doesn't mean we just forget about her. So we're going to talk about Mickey, and we're going to just do our best. We're all going to hang in there best we can. I will say, whenever Mickey does come up on the podcast, it is not in the next 3 episodes that we already recorded in the past couple of weeks. We will put a bit of a warning in the episode description, so keep an eye on that if you're looking for that, just in case it's too soon, you don't want to hear that discussion. We'll post that in the episode description at that time. That's really all for now. Anything else from you?
No, that's it. Yeah, just be kind to everybody, and take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and yeah, we thank you guys for sticking with us. And if we could offer a little bit of levity during a news like this, I'm glad that we're able to.
Going to post the GoFundMe for Mickey's family, all of the medical bills and everything that has come up over the past couple of weeks. It's in her Instagram bio. Her Instagram account is at the Mickey C. Lee. But I will also post the link for the GoFundMe in the episode description here. So check that out if it's something that you're interested in either donating to or sharing, or just anything like that. Again, one more time, all of our love and thoughts and everything to Mickey's family, friends, everybody, and to Mickey herself. We're so grateful to have had the opportunity to get to know her over this summer, and just very devastated by this loss. So again, just wanted to hop on here and say that.
Please go to the diary room.
Every single season and learn everything that there is to know about everybody.
Please make your way to the diary room.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Diary Room podcast, the Big Brother podcast, where we are trying to find the best player in Big Brother history. And as round one, of course, still continues to come to an end, we have a very fun way to close out the year, at least for now, 2025. Wow. Coming to an end. And that's going to be with 3 patrons of the podcast today. 3 of our friends from the patron group are joining us one at a time, as we have done plenty of times in the past. But of course, before we bring any of them in, I am Matt here, as always, with Amon. Amon, what's up?
Hey. Happy almost New Year, y'all. Another one in the can. Way to go. Yeah, I'm excited to be back. Excited to talk with some patrons again. I always love the patron episodes because it's just fun to see people argue for their faves in real time.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. Let's waste no time. Let's get right into it with our first guest today. Hopefully she's ready backstage. It looks like she is. We are going to start today off by talking to Jenna. Jenna, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
So good. So excited to have you here. Jenna, it looks like you are going through a journey watching Big Brother for the first time and binging your way through it.
Yes. So I got into the show a few years ago. I was into Survivor first. Then I had a friend who also loved Survivor that recommended that I check out Big Brother. So I've just been going through. I think if I could go back and do it over, I would just start from the beginning and
Sure.
then just watch everything chronologically. But I've kind of been jumping around, but I've been loving it and having a blast. And in the past few years, I've watched live over the summer. So that's been really,
Mhm.
really fun too.
What's been your favorite so far? Favorite season?
Oh gosh. I really love 14. I think that that is probably always going to be my number one that I've seen so far, but I love 10, 17, and 22. So those
Okay.
are 20 as well, not 22.
Right.
Yes.
Understood.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we got you.
And
Yeah.
and you've been listening along to the podcast, even though you don't know half the players we're talking about yet, as you're learning them along the way.
Yes, and I will say too that this podcast has really encouraged me to start BB Can. So I think once I finish all the US seasons, I'm gonna hop over and watch BB Can. I think just hearing both of your love for it has made me really interested in it because I don't know if I would have started if I hadn't really heard people just expressing how much that they love it. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for that journey as well.
Do it.
I mean, Amon, even during like the airing of Big Brother Canada when it wasn't yet canceled, it was still like not everybody was on board. Not everybody was convinced.
Yeah, and I'm like still surprised by that, at least with like the online community, because yeah, it doesn't get as much traction whenever we cover it over at RHAP, and I mean, it certainly did grow as time went along, but I was always still kind of surprised, at least with the online community, because the general population, whatever, because it's everything that you love about the show plus more, and just a different Canadian flavor to it. So I'm glad that you have been encouraged to go and check it out. I think you will certainly not be disappointed. I'm sad that we kind of spoiled a little bit of it for you, but I think you'll like it just the same.
Yeah, I mean, if you're jumping into the fandom, I imagine you already knew a lot before you actually started watching things, so
Yes,
that
and
was probably
especially
tough.
with 12 seasons of BB Can too, and just so many people, like even if I have heard you both discuss past players, it's kind of in one ear, out the other until I get to those players and their seasons, and then I can go back and really listen to your discussion again from a lens of
Yeah.
seeing that person played.
Do you have a favorite player so far, along with your favorite seasons?
Oh, I really love Dan and Brittany Haynes. I think those are two that I've just loved since I've watched both of them. But then there are also more recent players that I really loved. I was really rooting hard for Ashley this past year, so it was awesome to see her pull out the win in BB27. I loved Leah and Angela in BB26, so that double eviction was like the worst day of the season for me last year. And then I also have a lot of faves from BB23. I love the cookout as well. So definitely a mix of older players and current ones too.
Well, you mentioned a couple names that are on your wheel tonight. So that is probably a good sign, a good way to start. I'm going to pull the wheel up here and see, Amon, be prepared with what comes with a first watch and having seen not everything just yet. And the fact that we are so late in the round is one of the smallest wheels we have seen.
Oh my god! Oh wow!
I was
Oh yes, something's happening on this wheel, baby.
I was thinking of some of the combinations that could occur, and I was just laughing to
Oh
myself thinking about some of the
shit!
discussions
I
we
mean,
might be having.
this is kind of crazy. We have, just to point out some names here, the aforementioned Brittany Haynes. We have Big Brother 22 winner Cody Calafiore. We have Brendan Villegas. We have a lot of BB27 still here, and some
Yeah,
flops.
it's pretty
but-
much BB27 plus a bunch of like bigger names from older seasons. A winner on here. Like, ooh, damn! This is
Yeah.
about to be. Ooh,
I'm
ooh.
excited but scared to see what we're gonna get.
I am ready to get right into it if you guys are.
Let's do
Yep,
it.
let's
All right.
do it.
Well, first player up of the day here with Jenna is gonna be. I'm so scared.
Okay.
Starting strong with
Yay!
Brendan.
Yay! Oh, I'm so excited.
Have been very much waiting for this one for a while now. It's-
Brendan Villegas, baby.
It's like he already has been such a big name in the fandom, obviously, for years, goes on The Amazing Race and all that stuff. But just like obviously this past year of Brendan and Rachel, or Rachel specifically being back on our screens on Big Brother, and then Brendan being such a big part of the viewing experience and everything alongside that. It's been they're back. They're so back.
Yes.
Yeah. It almost feels like they never really left because of just how popular they've been throughout, every season. They famously always appear on the podcast from time to time. And yeah, they're ubiquitous in our community, as it were.
Hoping for them to appear on this podcast sometime soon.
Yes.
So we're gonna hold out hope for that. But Amon, do we have notes before we begin discussion?
We do. All right. Brendan. On BB12, Brendan became best known for his showmance with Rachel and his comp prowess. After Rachel was evicted in week 5, he managed to survive the next 2 rounds by becoming the next HOH and winning the POV in week 7. A double eviction resulted in him being evicted during the second half in a unanimous 3-0 vote. He placed 6th. On BB13, Brendan came back into the house alongside Rachel as a part of the dynamic duo twist. He and Rachel joined the Veterans Alliance. In week 4, Brendan and Rachel were nominated by Danielle. Brendan won the POV, but chose to use it on Rachel. He was then evicted in a 5-2 vote. He returned the next week, however. Danielle once again, won HOH and backdoored him. He finished 9th.
All right. Well, Jenna, kick us off here. What do you make of, I don't know, either Brendan, the Big Brother personality, where he sits in the community today, or the player, which I feel like maybe is a little bit lower on what you would think of when you're thinking of like the best parts of Brendan?
Yeah, so I feel like, especially throughout this past summer, there's always so much discussion about Rachel being great TV, but I don't think we talk enough about how Brendan is also
Mhm.
excellent reality television too. He is not afraid to get down and to be sassy, and he's a fighter. And in terms of his gameplay, he is a very, very loyal ally to those that he is aligned with, specifically with Rachel. Like he's used the veto on her. And if you're working with Brendan, he will be in your corner. But if you're working against Brendan, then you might have a tough road ahead, especially with some of his competition prowess. He won, I think, 3 vetoes in BB12 and also 3 in BB13 with, and I think his one HOH was in BB12. So he, especially with the right kind of competition for him, he can really power through some of these comps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has only played with Rachel, obviously. And so every time every time he's in that house, it's just like he's got one focus, right? And that is helping Rachel, being with Rachel, at like playing the game together. And obviously he's been in there for however many days without Rachel by his side, nowhere near as many days as now Rachel has played without him by her side. But it's it's like such an interesting experience or such an interesting thought process to think what a full summer of him would look like without having to defend Rachel and play on behalf of both of them while he's in there, because I feel like he could do it. It's hard for me to like estimate him as like one of the higher ends of Big Brother players that we've seen, because so much of what we've seen from him on the show is a lot of the confrontational arguing and whatnot with people that are anti-Brenchel along the way. But I think if you look between those moments, there is still a pretty good amount of good along the way, Amon.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned the sass, Jenna, because I feel like the show loves to sort of put this image forth of like Brendan sort of being the one that is like trying to calm Rachel down and trying to really make sure that everything is copacetic in the house with the two of them. And he does do that from time to time, but no, like he was down and dirty with the rest of them, ready to argue at a drop of a hat. Like he really was just out here. I feel like, I think he's one of those players that you expect to be a little bit better than his placement in both seasons. I think that he's certainly has the ability to make it happen. I think that obviously playing with Rachel, who is so open and loud, is always going to be a hard thing to have to navigate. So I think it will be interesting watching him without her, because I do think that he sort of I think his affinity is more towards being a bit more of the strategy focused person, the one that like uses logic and reason about like who needs to go next. I feel like that's probably where he wants to stay, but he just didn't really have the luxury of being able to do that when he has a partner in the game both times. So I think that I would venture to say that Brendan might be a little underrated. I mean, his strategy isn't bad. I just think that, I think he was always focused on being right during game talks, but being right doesn't matter if no one wants to keep you. You know what I mean? So I think he's an interesting one. He's an interesting one.
A person who like, I feel like having watched and studied the game so much since his first season, or both of his 2 seasons, I would have so much faith in him going in today, where I might not feel the exact way of like if I was watching in real time from 12 to 13. I don't know that I would have like drafted him super high, but today I would. I mean, him and Rachel are students of the game, and Rachel comes back in 27, like knowing the game plan, like planning to still be the insanely good television personality that she always has been, but also wanting to play a really good game. And I feel like that would be the same for Brendan all these years later. They, come on in 12, they meet the loves of their lives, within one another. That's got to be a little distracting, both in that current season and going into the next. So I don't know, but what a name.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
was thinking about him today as I was just kind of thinking about some people that may come up, and I was wondering if he would do well if he came back again. And I do think that he can have a very decent run and at least make it to
Mhm.
jury. I think he's just one of those players that if people want to work with him and if he finds a group that he connects with, and I think too, especially if he was there without Rachel, that could possibly lessen a target on his back. Of course, we don't know, but it's fun to think about. And I do think that, especially because he is good at comps, specifically vetoes, he's pulled out 6 wins. I think that he could have a deep run, and it would be very fun to see and to root him on.
Yeah. The comp wins, even back then, him dominating in comps, like imagine today, he would win almost everything.
Yeah. And let's not forget, he was one of the people to really be able to sniff out what was going on with the brigade as well. But like, again, like, when he would try to tell people about it, it was more of like, I'm right, listen to me, as opposed to like, guys, we can use this to our advantage. You know what I mean? I feel like people felt like they were being lectured by him every time that he spoke. Which is super indicative in that famous back and forth with Danielle in 13. She's like, well, you didn't have the balls to admit that you got caught. And Danielle's like, oh, gee, thanks, master. Thanks. Because I have to tell everything to you in this game. So I think if he tweaks that a little bit, which I'm sure he's probably a lot better at as an older person now, I think he probably do pretty well coming back.
I mean, even if he played again with Rachel today, you think like, oh, are they going to go right back into form of like, he's just protecting her no matter, like if he was in that house and Kiana was coming for Rachel, would he just jump into mode of like defending her? Yes. But I think he also like, they just would both have such a better game plan going into it and execute it really well, which is funny because one of them won Big Brother 13. It's not like they just had no success. But I think it could just continue to be improved upon and would be. Terrifyingly, though, we have to pick him an opponent. And there's just a couple of names here that I really don't want to land on, but the odds are against it. I'm just doing it.
See.
Especially since we're trying to get one of them on the podcast.
Oh, boy. This is not worst case scenario. Ava Pearl.
Okay. Interesting.
Big Brother 27. Final 4. She made fourth place. Ava Pearl up next. Amon's got a big smile on his face.
No, I'm just like interesting. I don't know.
Wait, already? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ava, known for her kooky persona and over-the-top expressions, Ava had a solid social standing, but avoided strategizing with most players, barring Will. Though able to save Will in week 3, evict of massive social threat on her week 5 HOH reign, and position herself as a swing vote, her stubbornness and betrayal of several numbers coincided with her becoming a pawn for the Judges Alliance. After losing Will and 2 more allies in the post-jury, Ava was evicted for her status as both a jury threat and outsider, placing 4th, and becoming the, what does it say? Sorry, the wiki is still loading. She was evicted and placed 4th.
Okay, very good. And Jenna, is Amon frozen for you too?
I think so, yes.
Okay, well,
that would explain why the wiki was still loading.
Opening the wiki while also streaming is a very dangerous game because that thing has ads everywhere. We have a document that has all of the wiki descriptions, but we haven't moved them all over because I think they were only just coming out recently. So, Amon, you may need to refresh or something and come back in. But let's talk about Ava. She's so frustrating for me personally on this season. Jenna, I don't know which way you're going to go as far as like a negative or positive view on her. So let me just turn to you.
Yeah, when I saw Ava's preseason press, I really didn't know what to think and what we were getting into. And then when the season started, I liked her. I was rooting for her. I thought that she was fun and I liked watching her interact with the other house guests. But as the game went on, I just found that I was rooting more and more for other people. I think just with the way that she was very passive in some ways, and then just some of the very unkind things we would catch her saying on the feeds, I just kind of grew more turned off by her. And by the end of her time in the game, and also just as the game was progressing, I really did not want to see her win. So I was fine when she was evicted.
She just plays this game on YOLO. Like that's not a thing. I mean, it is in a sense. Like Tucker played the game playing like YOLO, which I love that we're still using that phrase or whatever in 2025. But Ava really, like, I'm not just saying it, she said it herself a couple times throughout the season. And there was obviously like some high points of her making big moves. The three guys on the block on her HOH, which ultimately with Zach going home, like that's a pretty big move. But like, it was just almost like the frustration up until that point in the game is what led her to doing that, of the fact that like she felt like nobody else was making a big move. But before that and after that, it was just a lot of like, I don't care what happens. I don't really want to play the game myself. I don't want to get involved in the social, this and that. And then by the end of it, just with all of, as you were saying, just like the nasty way that she was talking about Rachel and whoever else, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. She went from a fan favorite to like, not very much not.
Yes.
Yeah. I felt like in the beginning she was in an enviable position where, she's, pleasant. People seem to really enjoy her, but it didn't really feel like she had a lot of insulation, but it was still to the point where like she was going to be fine. But I feel like as more and more time went on, I do kind of feel like she kind of started to just sort of rest on her laurels, which isn't always a bad thing to do in Big Brother, especially if you're playing the, Rob Sesternino sleep until the end type of game. But it never really felt like she was sleeping until the end. It kind of just felt like, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and go on with the flow of it. And if you're a free spirit girl, go ahead and be free. But you can go ahead and be free in jury. Like it's just, it just wasn't, she wasn't doing much towards the end. And it's, because of the fact that, she's a jury threat because of the fact that she doesn't have a lot of enemies, which I feel like is always an overestimated type of thing that happens with jury management these days. I feel like people kind of overestimate players that don't have enemies, because like at the end of the day, you still have to have a lot to talk about in your game. And if she were to sit in those final two chairs, I don't think that she would really have much to say. So
that's a really great point, Amon. I feel like in the modern seasons, especially, so many people, they want to get rid of the people like Ava who may be playing more passive or who do have a lot of friends on the jury because they're so worried that they're going to be a jury threat. But in reality, a lot of the times I don't think they are, unless they're sitting next to someone in those final two chairs who's just absolutely abysmal. Also, too, when Ava did win one HOH, so good for her. She did earn that. But if I remember correctly, I think it was the week 5 HOH and it was the knockout, and she gets picked towards the end, which in some ways is really good gameplay. She's not being actively targeted, but I think she's not being actively targeted because she was just such a non-entity to the cast. And her HOH week was really fun. I think it's kind of fun as a fan and as a feeder when you're watching the show and all 2 or all 3 people are on the block are kind of people that like you'd be happy to see any of them go. And at that point, I was totally happy to see a man go. So her HOH week was fun, although chaotic. But yeah, I think too, I just wanted to see so much more from her and it was so frustrating because every time she would show like an inch of like some strategic thoughts, nothing would really come of it. And especially at the end, I feel like we just kind of got the sense that she was ready to go home. She was ready to be done with the game.
Like the Vinny the Lip stuff was fun. Like, we talk about like Rachel and Jimmy and people that were there to like put on a TV show, but Ava was there to be like a television character. She was there. I don't know if she was like looking for opportunities post show or what, but she was very much aware of the camera. Her final like thing in the house is a Final Four like speech about like, Vinny, don't ever contact me after this. And it was like probably rooted in some sincerity that she didn't like Vinny that much by the end of the game. Not many of them did. But it was still just kind of like aware the cameras were on her and had a big moment. And it wasn't working for a lot of people. I'm sure there was people it was working for, but and as far as strategy in the game is concerned at that point, granted there wasn't much she was going to be able to do to stay, but you're not helping at Final Four to be talking like that. I also think of what was I going to say? When the judges are formed and she's not anywhere near a part of it. It's like you are closely allied, or at least have good relationships with a handful of the people in that group. and none of them care enough to bring you in. Like none of them find you a valuable enough or like legitimate enough person in the game to like say we need her in this alliance. It was just like, yeah, she'll vote with us, and she did. The vote, that 5-4 vote, the crucial vote to evict Riley, she was one of those votes, even though she wasn't a judge. So like they had her, but she wasn't in the alliance, and that says a lot, I think, about her as a player and what people ever feel like they're going to be able to trust within her. So
yeah, it's like one of those things. Like they can't care more than she does. You know what I mean? Like she's socially fine, like strategically adjacent, but ultimately forgettable. You know?
And up against Brendan Villegas, very interesting because, I mean, not to get messy, but what did she say about Rachel's family?
Oh, I forgot about that.
About Rachel being a good mom? I don't know. I think the person she's up against here would say that Rachel is a very good mom.
Yeah.
For sure. Whoa!
Ooh,
Well,
this will feel really good for that family if she ends up going here, but we don't know what's going to happen. Jenna, would you like to vote first?
Yes, I'm going to put my vote towards Brendan. I think that Brendan definitely does have some flaws in his game. I don't think he's a perfect player, but I really can see a world in which he comes back. Maybe it's kind of similar how Rachel came back on her own, or maybe Brendan comes back with other vets on an all-star season, but I think that he could come back and he could really kill it. I think what's also something we didn't touch on, but very briefly, is that Brendan was on BB 12 and 13, so he played back to back. And I think what can be challenging for those players is that, yes, they've seen their season back, but I know so many former players say that it kind of takes a year or two until you start kind of feeling back to normal after playing the game again. I think even if Brendan had had some more time between 12 and 13, we could have seen even more improvement. So I'm going to put my vote towards Brendan today. I really think that I think he had a stronger showing in his seasons, but I also do think that if he came back, he could have a deep run and he could do really well.
Yeah. Agreed. I'll go next. I'm gonna also be voting for Brendan to go through here. Pretty easy call. I do think that, you know, for a lot of the negative stuff that I have said or that has been said about Ava and her game, she's not the worst. She wasn't the worst player on her cast. She, you know, was right in the middle of that house for a good chunk of it and was so safe through so much of the game, eventually like picking up extra allies along the way in Lauren and Kelly. If she somehow gets a seat in the end, she's got votes on that jury for sure. Like Will wanted her to win more than Ashley by the time he gets evicted. So there's certainly a world where Ava could win the game, but it's not a style of game that I would ever advocate for someone to go into that house and play with. So it's going to be Brendan for me. Aman, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think that's 3 for Brendan. Like I said, I feel like Brendan sort of played to be right a lot of the time. Whereas I feel like with Ava, she played to not be wrong. Like I feel like she played like a very avoidant game style, which just it can work up to a point. But I do think, and, you know, and I take what you said earlier about like her still having the opportunity to win. And I don't think it's impossible for that play style to win, but I just think that it's harder for that kind of play style to win. Whereas I feel like with Brendan, yeah, he had to really, you know, work around the Rachel of it all, but still, I think that the natural instincts were there. So yeah, I think Brendan is better.
Well, Brendan's going to go through. This isn't the end of the vote, though. There are 2 patron votes here.
Oh,
let me shout out first.
Is it one-on-one?
Rachel, who had Brendan down for a vote, and now Rachel has had both of her picks win their matchup. And I want to shout out to Korn, who had a vote on Ava and has now had both players that Korn picked not go through.
Damn.
Now, I specifically mentioned that because it was a stretch to pick the 2 players that they picked. In Ava was the second pick, and Sheila from Big Brother 9 was the first pick. Both players that could go through in some world, but did not.
Damn. I'm
Wow.
so sorry.
That is that. But Jenna, last word for you here. First of all, thank you so much for joining us for that matchup. Hopefully it was what you would have hoped for as a result. Anything else that you want to get out there while we have you here?
I don't think so. Thank you so much for having me on. This was so fun, and that was such a good matchup. I'm always super excited to talk about Brendan, and BB27 is still fairly fresh in my head since it just aired. So
Mhm.
this was really fun, and I'm so happy that Brendan went through.
Yes. What season are you watching now, if any?
I am watching, I'm just about to finish 25. 25 pre-jury was really fun. I'm
Mhm.
kind of trudging along the end of 25, about to be done with that. I'm also watching a lot of Survivor in anticipation for 50 airing in
Okay.
February. So I foresee myself taking a bit of a BB pause over the next few months, but then probably kicking it back up as we get closer to the summer again.
Perfect. Well, let us know what you're thinking along the way, of course, as you watch. But thank you again so much for joining us.
Will
Yes.
do. Thank
See
you
you.
so much.
See you in a little bit. All right, Brendan Villegas through to the next round.
Yeah,
Look at him
both
go.
of them are now through.
Brendan and Rachel, round
No
2.
one comes in between her and her man, not even this podcast.
Not at all. Ready for our next guest?
Ready, ready, ready.
All right. Well, he looks ready backstage, so I'm going to be bringing Harry on stage with us. Harry, what's up?
Hello.
How you
I'm
doing?
excited to be here.
Yes.
Very excited to have you. You were with us the other day, right? For
Yeah, I
we did a
was.
live show on Patreon.
I thought that was really fun.
What well, I'll spoil the latest battle back results here. That Shima made her way back into the competition. Were you good with that result?
Yes, I think I gave most of my votes to her. I gave some to Kathy, but I wanted her to win.
And she did. As she should. Harry, what any hot takes from the podcast? I meant to ask Jenna this, but I did forget. Anything any results that you've been disagreeing with along the way?
I was thinking about this. I mean, there's obviously like the easy ones from early on, but recently, the one that got me was Lauren versus Ovi.
Ah,
Um, that one, I understood the arguments for why Ovi went through there because I do think Ovi probably is like more strategically smart. But I think the games that the two of them played, Lauren got a lot closer to winning and had like a real path that I think she probably could repeat on another season. So I might have voted for her there.
That's
I was
fair.
actually just thinking about Lauren during this matchup, not just because she's allied with she was allied with Ava, but just they very similarly go out for me. Of like Ava again could have won a matchup, and I feel like Lauren didn't deserve or not didn't deserve to go out in round 1, but like I could have seen her in round 2.
Yeah, there was a world where she had more to show, but I'm not too mad about it either.
Yeah. Anybody you're hoping to see come up on the wheel today for what you have?
Honestly, I just would like a competitive matchup. I think it would be fun.
Was the last one competitive for you? Brendan versus Ava?
For me, no, I would have easily picked Brendan. I think you guys made the right choice on that one. I mean, I think there's a conversation there, but not super hard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Look, a lot of round 1 has had easy matchups, I guess, Amon. We've had a lot of 3-0s, 4-0s.
Yeah, I mean it's hard when there's such high variance. This is the highest variance round, right? So like it's but yeah, hey, we are asking for harder matchups, but those days are going to be coming, and that's when the real pain will start. So I say, enjoy the ride, baby. Enjoy the ride.
Right. I mean, politely, we just have to take out the trash in the meantime.
Of course.
So let me pull the wheel up here for you, Harry, and see who we've got. A couple more names this time around. Who's here? You have BB Can, right?
Yeah, I have some BB Can. I'm still working through some of the seasons, but I've
Yeah, it was
gotten
like
through
6
a
on
lot of
there,
them at this
12,
point.
10.
What was that? You're working your way through the seasons?
Yeah, I'm working through 7 right now, but it's a slow process because that one's a little unpleasant. But we'll get there.
All right. Well, I'm excited for this wheel. A nice mix of some different franchises. Shall we give it a spin?
Let's do it. Who's it gonna be?
All right. Up first, right here, right now, is going to be going between some old school names. Big Brother 4. It was if it didn't land here on Robert from Big Brother 4, it was about to land on Jace, which both old school legends in their own right. Although I do believe let me just double check this here. I think this closes out BB4. Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
that's it.
The last player of the season. Harry, what do you think about Big Brother 4 before we even talk about?
I love Big Brother 4. That's one of my favorite seasons. I really like those first few. I would say 2 to 5 really do it for me. So I'm glad to get to talk about BB4, I think.
All right, well, let's do it. Amon, do we have notes on Robert?
Yes, we do, however short. Robert was best known for his membership in the Three Stooges, his relationship with his ex-girlfriend Erica, and his daughter. After making it to the final 3, Allison cast the sole vote to evict him. He placed 3rd.
Before there was ever Devin has a daughter, oh boy, was there Robert has a daughter. I remember more about his scenes about how much he missed his daughter, which I'm not like putting down, than I do about much of his gameplay. I'm also I'm looking over to the chat. Joey, who's going to be joining us next, says, IMO, there's only 6 people he beats here. Wow. Not looking
Like
very
on
good
that
for
old
Robert.
wheel? Oh,
But Harry, you want to kick us off here talking about Robert Roman?
Yeah, I don't have a very positive opinion of Robert. I think that he had a bit of a bad attitude for most of the game, and probably might have been the least active player on his side of the house. But he did get close to winning, so there's that, I guess.
He did. He was in there at the end. I feel like, that group, and I don't think that we gave that group enough credit the first time that, and I don't even know, I can't remember if they have a name of that alliance, the Justin, G, and Robert group. But when Justin came up and we evicted him, a lot of people were like, yeah, no, there was a lot more going on than you guys gave them credit for. And I think that Robert, obviously a big part of that. But he, not the same as like in Ava that we just talked about, but like really from my, not having been there at the time perspective, seems like he just kind of coasted his way through. I obviously could be wrong in that perception, but watching the episodes, I feel like I just got the sense that he had a lot of good relationships. Him and Erica were mostly okay. And I feel like there were a couple of times that maybe Robert rubbed some people the wrong way, but the fact that he ends up very similarly at the end of the game, just like making his way through without causing too many waves. I think he probably easily wins at the end with all of his friends on the jury, but probably not like the most impressive winner. Anything special that you know about Robert's game, Amon, or remember?
I mean, I feel like he started off pretty strong. I feel like he was able to like lay down his numbers fairly effectively. He knew he knew what where his positioning was. He knew why he was at the bottom whenever he's at the bottom. So I feel like he had good game sense. I just feel like he was sort of just like, he's more of a reactive player. Yes. And I feel like he was also kind of just like very condescending whenever he got super stressed about what was going on. So I just think that his biggest downfall is just his emotional regulation. I don't know how much of that was due to the fact that he was missing his daughter so hard, but that's kind of where I land with him. It's I think he's got brains for it. I just don't know if it was the right time in his life to do Big Brother. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Not to be super mean, but this isn't the meanest I could be. I feel like how did such a boring person get on the show?
I don't know. These people show so much differently to the producers during the casting process, and they get in there and then it's all bets are off.
Would love to hear from anybody that was watching in real time live. Was he super fun on the feeds? Because I just don't remember that being the case on the episodes.
No, it doesn't appear that way, but
I really doubt it.
Yeah,
we were all babies at this point, so who knows?
I don't know. But yeah, the scenes of him talking about his daughter, definitely the ones that I think stand out to me the most. He, I think, got a phone call from her at one point.
I think so, yeah.
I just feel like June and Allison were playing such a a dirty game, but it was fun to watch. Whereas with him, he was so focused on being righteous about everything, and it was okay, girl, get out of here. It just,
yeah. I mean,
it wasn't the speed.
In my last watch of Big Brother 4, I took some notes. I wrote down that he was more of an aggressive player than strategic. Not that I remember too many of the details as to why I felt that way, but yeah. Oh, and then he had some a couple of outbursts along the way as well.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
So
Sure.
maybe not the ideal pick you were looking for, Harry.
I mean, we'll see who comes up against him.
You feel just like Joey does of not great about his odds so far?
I don't feel great about his odds. I feel like there's probably people on there he could beat just because he did come close to winning.
Yeah, no, I think if he wins that final HOH and it takes either June or Allison, I would imagine it's a pretty easy victory for him. Just looking at the jury, it's Justin and G that are 100% voting for him. I think Jack would as well. And then if he just needs one more vote out of Dana, Nathan, probably just count Dana. Dana's going to vote for Justin. I think it's pretty easily. Oh, and Joey saying Erica likely votes for him as well. Forgot that she'd be there. So I think that is correct as well. Not many of those exes probably would have voted for their ex, but I think that these two, or at least Erica, would have voted for Robert. I don't know. I need to go back and like read some of the feed updates for BB4. That's like a season that I really want to know more about.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's spin the wheel.
Spin that wheel, baby.
Who's facing off against BB4's Roberts, the final player from Big Brother 4? Ooh, Big Brother Canada 4.
Oh.
4 and
Nikki
4.
Grahame.
Wow.
4 and 4. We love to
classic
see it.
battle of the fours. Nikki Grahame, of course, rest in peace.
Yes.
A true legend of Big Brother, a legend in the reality TV world, and gone way too soon from this world. But we're going to talk about Nikki and her Big Brother Canada game that we were all lucky enough to get to watch after she was voted in to that season. The hype was real. People said, that we were getting these candidates, including Jace. Funny that Jace almost just came up. And people said, you have to vote for Nikki. You will regret it if you don't. And they were right.
Is Harry also killing Big Brother Canada 4 now?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Big Brother Canada 4.
Killed the fours, Harry. You killed them.
Big Brother Canada 4 coming to a close here. Let me look at the stats for you since you asked. Well, you didn't, but not. You kind of did. BB4 currently sitting at 6-6. Gone through versus not gone through. BB Can 4 8-7. Pretty even.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
But we have notes on Nikki.
We do. Nikki, during her first season on the UK edition, Nikki became infamous for her frequent temper tantrums over minor issues. Who is she? Once Nikki entered the BB Can Grand, she was thrown for a loop due to how different the game was. As time passed, she began to think more strategically, having a good read of her fellow house guests. Although she was never one to make big moves, she was able to remain in the game by floating in the middle. She frequently switched her allegiances based on how she felt about specific people at certain moments. And just so you know, that was actually in the blurb. I didn't just pull the quote out of my ass.
Very good. All right, Harry, get us started here. What do you want to say about Nikki Grahame?
Yeah, I think the thing about her is that she's just such a memorable character. I mean, that's obviously why she was there. I remember being a fan at the time and really, really hoping that she would get voted in. So I think it was exciting that we got to see her on a Big Brother that we recognize at all. I don't think that she was the most equipped player, and I don't think anyone expected her to win, but I think that she brought a lot of her personality along the way.
You knew her before BB Can 4?
Yeah, I had been familiar because, a lot of her freakouts on Big Brother UK were all over the internet. So I had seen a lot of clips of her before that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, BB Can 4 is not too soon after I started watching Big Brother, period. So I hadn't seen a lot of those clips until she's a part of the BB Can universe, and then I see everything, and I'm like, oh my god, like truly an icon. So glad that we got to get to know her. And even like after BB Can 4, she comes back in for a couple of different times over the remaining years of Big Brother Canada, just to pop in for a cameo here or there. Obviously, very beloved by production, by the fans. So a legend in the sense of who she was on the show. I think the gameplay itself is a different story, Amon. I mean, we definitely don't think of Nikki and think, oh, that was one of the best players this show has ever seen. That's not why she was cast on any version of the show she's ever played, but she is a legend regardless.
Yeah, she they didn't put her on this show to win. Come on
No.
now. They put her over here because she was such a maniac over in BBUK, and we loved her for it. And it really felt like production was purposefully trying to drive her up a wall all season long just so that they could get a rise out of her. But I think that she played as well as she could have. I think that her being paired up with Tim also really, really helped because Tim would really indulge her a lot of the time, with like just like like if she was having a tizzy about somebody else, like Tim would like instigate it because Tim loves chaos. But I think what really how that helps her, even though Tim was just doing it for chaos, how that helps her is that she's just brutally transparent all the times, wears her emotions on her sleeves. If she had a problem with you, you knew it. So it just made her very predictable. It made her very just, okay, well, girl, that's Nikki. Like, is she going to vote with us this week? Is she okay? Then we're good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so she just, her target was so big that it didn't exist anymore. And it's just kind of like, one of those people that I feel like it's kind of easy to navigate around because she wasn't necessarily really involved in a lot of game talk either. So she just was there, but she was fun. So
plenty of fun along the way, and the show gave her plenty of moments, plenty of like, I don't remember exactly what the tasks were, but I think she had a task or two in the house of just like some way to make her pop even more than she already is going to on her own. She does get evicted, I believe, on her birthday, which was tough. But yeah, she ended up in this weird spot with like allied with Tim and not trusting Tim, and then he didn't actually have her back, and there wasn't really anything that he could get out of having her as an ally. So like that was weird. By the time that she does end up getting evicted from the house, she was never somebody in there that was actively going out of her way to like play the game and build on things and try to, like, that's not why Nikki's in Big Brother. She is not trying to go far. She's just being herself, and I don't know, having a good time most of the time along the way. Plenty of times where she's not having a good time and she's like losing her mind because of all of the crazy people around her driving her crazy, but she entertained us like nobody's business. And have we
chaos
said once yet Rail, because that was who she played with, that she can never get that man's name right.
Ryan.
So that's one of the main things I think of with Nikki. A true legend. And again, rest in peace. We definitely miss Nikki's presence in the world, let alone in the Big Brother community, very much.
Sure.
So I guess a little strange, but we will vote here. BB Can 4 versus BB4. Shout out to BB Can 4, the first BB Can season to be done.
Oh, wow.
Thanks, Harry. Appreciate your wheel allowing us to get to that point. Harry, would you like to cast the first vote?
I think that I would.
Oops. Sorry.
I don't know if my take here will be controversial or not. I think we have one player who played really passively but did come pretty close to winning. We have another player who I think was much more of a character and much more of a legendary character, probably didn't have as many options in terms of winning, but who knows with that cast, especially towards the end. Um, that being said, I think I have to vote for Nikki here. I'm not going to get a legend on my wheel and not vote her to go to the next round. I don't know how much further she'd get, but I feel like I got to do it.
Fair enough. And Amon, you go next.
Why me next?
So I can keep thinking. Or I can go next if you want.
Ooh.
It's
I
funny.
think-
It's like the idea of voting Nikki through, and I think Harry would co-sign this, who just voted for Nikki. It's like, I want to fully say, if I vote for Nikki, she is not the better player here. And I fully acknowledge that. But with the open nature of what we allow to vote someone through,
Exactly. That's
I mean, you know, and some
It's
people don't love
Robert.
it, but maybe at some point we decide to tighten things up a bit. But that hasn't been the case in round one. And if I want to vote Nikki Grahame through, I might have to do it.
I will say that I feel like Nikki has a better social game than Robert, which might sound crazy at first, but I truly believe because of the fact that she was so people really enjoyed her. She was very authentic. She was just herself. Like I feel like yes, maybe Robert's the better player, but I feel like Nikki is not only the better character, but just like the better force in the house, just the better presence in the house, and like just more memorable to me. And so I'm voting for Nikki. I don't give a damn.
All right. So let me jump in next to say there's a patron vote on Nikki as well.
Oh, what then?
Wouldn't have mattered at this point, regardless. Once Harry cast the vote, Nikki was going through. I'm weighing a little bit of like I don't know, for some reason I care about like the vote total at a time like this, where I'm like, does Robert deserve 0 votes in this matchup when I'm saying he's the better player, but Nikki's already going through? Or do I just want to put all the respect on Nikki's name for being such a legend? That's what I want to do. I don't care enough about Robert Roman. Nikki's going through on a 4-0 vote, and that's
Yay.
So, you know, hard to ask for much more, as you were saying, Harry, than a legend coming up while you're here. So I hope that was a worthwhile pull for you,
Very satisfying pull.
especially after Robert. So, yeah, BB Can 4 is closed out here with 9 players going through and 7 staying behind. So would you look at that? Harry, any final words for us here today?
Not really. I would say thanks for having me. This was fun. Surprisingly more fun than I thought we would have with that spin.
Oh, I thought you were going to say more fun than you thought you'd have, period. I was like, I'm sorry you had such low expectations for the day.
No, never.
I'm glad it all worked
You
out.
never know who can come up on the wheel.
No, that's the fun in it all. And with a pretty big wheel, given how many people are left, you know, I was pretty nervous, but we made it through. All right, Harry, thank you so much. We'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you, Harry.
All right.
The
Nikki
Slayer of
Grahame
Fours.
through the next round. Oh, and I didn't even mention who the vote was from. It's from past guest and a very good friend of ours, Matt Gagan, voted for Nikki Grahame.
Okay. Matt was like, no, y'all not gonna do my girl dirty. Nope.
Yeah. So Nikki goes through the next round, and
Yes.
pulling up the wheel of our last guest here today, but I'm going to bring him on stage. He does look like he's ready, and Joey is with us. Joey, how's it going?
Going good. I'm glad to finally be here. It's been a bit.
It has been a minute, yeah, since you joined us on Patreon, and we were in touch a handful of times about having
about a
you
year
join us for
ago.
one of these. But you're finally here. We made it.
I'm glad. I'm ready. When I got the news that I'd be on today, I spent like about 2 hours looking through everyone and thinking like, all right, what am I gonna be doing? I made like a list, best to worst. So I think I'm ready for anything. I'm excited to discuss about it.
Do you have the players on your wheel ranked from best to worst?
Yes.
I love that.
I made a list. It's not a big list, so it didn't take. Watch some videos. I had to refresh my mind. I wanted to be ready.
Do you think there's any
I'm ready
chance
for it.
that you go stray from your list and vote for someone who is ranked under?
No, actually, I think halfway through talking to who was on first, I think I switched one of them.
Okay.
So anything can happen, but I think I'm
Okay.
pretty set.
All
What I'm
right.
gonna do. But
Any takes on any matchups in the past? Not to put you on the spot, but anything you want to
I
get off
think-
your chest?
I think the you versus Roddy matchup was unfair. Given, rig the wheel and all, so it's gonna be okay. Like a week
Yes.
before it happened, and then,
Yeah.
But-
So for backstory, Joey had his patron vote on Roddy from Big Brother 3. And I think I even said on the podcast, I was like, oh, I feel so bad about this, because then Ashley Hollis came up and took Roddy out. Unclear if Roddy's come back in with the timing of when the battle back vote's happening with all of that. But
something to say about it.
I'm sure as soon as that vote is going, you will have your pitch ready to go. Do you want to tell us why you were so happy to advocate for Roddy?
Yes, specifically because we've never seen another player like Roddy, in my opinion. This was season 3 of the show, only the second to do it. The only thing they had going off of them was the season before, Big Brother 2. And I've never seen a player understand like that format of the game where they were able to watch the clips and everything like after the show. I felt like was the only person who understood that, and he formatted his game around that gameplay. Like he was perfect, like specifically being this nice guy hero and specifically not lying to a fault, obviously, because he got out his time because he didn't want to lie to Amy. Like that was his thing. He didn't want to lie. He wanted to be the good guy and not play dirty. And if he got to the end, he would have won. But he understood that. Danielle, obviously the better player, but she didn't understand that. That's why she lost, obviously. Talking to the confessionals, and the jury sees that and is like, we don't want Danielle to win. And it sucks. But that's how the game was. They all knew it. So that's kind of why I was never on Danielle was robbed, because they all knew the kind of game they were playing. I think Danielle's better, but
it's a complicated.
Roddy, I got a lot to say about Roddy.
Yeah.
And I know you got to go soon. So
we got a little bit of time. No worries there. But
I got a lot to say about Roddy. I'll save that for the battle back campaign.
I just felt so bad, especially because then you were like, there was only 10 players that you thought that he could lose to, and Ashley had been one of them.
It was one of them. I can't even debate the reason why Ashley's worse, unfortunately. But it is what it is.
For your sake, I hope Roddy has come back by the time this podcast is coming out. Who's to say?
Watch the Big Brother Boy episode. I'm feeling okay right now. We'll see what the next 2 episodes say. Hope for the best.
Oh, he's invested. I love it.
Yeah.
Anyone you're hoping to see on the wheel today?
I'm really hoping to see 2 people. I don't want them to go against each other though, but one of the 2 is fine. I really want to see Ken from BB2 or Chris Wiley from BB Can 8.
That's such a probably could have taken a shot at 30 different names here before I would have gotten to those 2.
I want to talk about people that aren't talked about. Who talks about Chris Wiley? That psychopath. I want to talk about some people who haven't been talked about. So I'm ready. Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, let's spin. Let's find out who's up first.
Brain transformation specialist, baby.
Oh boy.
If you look that up, he comes up.
Well, we're instead going to start with Big Brother 15.
Ooh,
and
okay.
I'll tell you one thing. We're closing out BB 15 here.
That was it.
Oh my god! Another season killed. We're just killing seasons on this episode.
Do you keep saying killed? Why can't it just be like
we evicted the season. It's gone
for a nap.
A nap? Okay, a very very long nap.
Well, some of the players are going for a very long nap, but the season itself will be back in only a couple of weeks' time. But let's get started talking about Howard, final player from Big Brother 15 to be discussed in this round. Amon, you have notes?
We do. All right. Howard was remembered for his kind-heartedness despite racist comments made during the season. In week 5, Howard became nominated alongside his ally Spencer. He was evicted in a 7-1-0 vote and placed 12th. On finale night, Howard was revealed to be among the top 3 vote getters to get AFP, but lost to Alyssa.
Now, I don't know if everybody remembers this, but I think Andy came on the podcast and said something about Howard being one of the worst players on the season. Does that ring a bell? Because I wrote it down in my notes as well to make sure that I remember.
Maybe I can't remember.
I think I remember him being a little down on him.
Yeah, I could be misquoting, but I took a little note for myself that Andy said that Howard may have been the worst player in the house aside from David.
But again, you know,
I can't imagine him being worse than Jeremy.
yeah,
You would think not.
no way.
No, I wasn't there.
Yeah, I'm on. What do you
Luckily.
want to go first? I feel like again, BB15 is the season that you seem to have the most memory of as one of your first seasons. It was literally your first, right?
It was my first. What did you doozy? Yeah, I mean Howard. I don't think that he's a great player. No, I think that he even outside of the isolation that was going on because of reasons, I just don't think that he was really cut out for the game. It really felt like he did kind of try to get a thing going with Spencer, and they had like a bit of a bros alliance going on in the beginning, but it really felt like Spencer kind of like cut himself off from Howard, and Howard kind of really didn't do anything to make sure that Spencer sticks with him. But again, he also had to sit there and deal with watching Candace go through what she went through and feeling as though he wasn't allowed to act a certain way because reasons. So it's hard to fault him all of the way, but given what I could see from the beginning of his game, I wouldn't really put him as someone that was going to do well anyway. So it's really I think it's just an unfortunate draw for him, because I think that maybe there's a world in which he finds a more stable alliance to get things started. Because it feels like he was a very emotional like center of that house, if that makes sense, like the beating heart of the season in some ways. But I just don't think that he was really cut out for that game. I don't really think that he had an idea of how to like move forward, you know?
Yeah, Joey, what do you got?
So he was actually one of the people I was most conflicted on when deciding, because, well, I've been on like this big BBRS rewatch at the end of 11 right now. But from what I remember from Howard, I remember being in the moving company with Spencer, Nick, and Jeremy. And when that had broken up, it was kind of as if, Jeremy kind of went to the girls. Spencer had completely abandoned the alliance. But Howard kind of was trying to still keep his options open with them while also trying to flip, and then like the house kind of saw that and thought he was shady, with also probably some other underlying, some reasons for that. But they thought he was shady for trying to like play that middle. So when I was determining it, it was like my criteria for grading these players, like how would they do just a normal season. And it's kind of hard to determine that due to the unfortunate prejudice he got in the house. But I think just on its own in general, I don't think he was like the most strategically stable, and I just want to say like uncertain. I don't think he really had a set plan and was kind of just going with emotions, and then it just didn't go well for him.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the sentiment was that he was, I don't know if awkward is the right word, but just like people weren't able to really get a good read on him. Like in a way to genuinely feel like you could do any work with him in the game. Like he would go to people, have conversations. He was trying to play the game. Obviously, as we're talking about all these other factors that were going into everything, the isolation that him and Candace were experiencing for, again, obvious reasons, were not helping anything. But when he would try to play the game, talking to Spencer, talking to all these other people, to just like see if there was any way in for him, nobody was really opening the doors and letting him in. I feel like was my perception of it. And maybe if I don't know, maybe if he was a little bit more charismatic, and I don't mean that to be harsh, but it just felt like that's the way that people didn't feel about him, that maybe it could have worked, or it just could be a lot of the extra circumstances that were working against him from the awful people in that house that just made it so it was never going to happen.
There's also a little bit of like controversy with Amanda at some point trying to say that Howard was being overly like flirtatious with her at some point, which I don't know if we ever really got to see any of what she was talking about on feeds, but I feel like there was like, towards the end of him being there, there did sort of seem to be like sort of this demonization of him. And it just, I just feel like he had a lot of things going against him, because as soon as the moving company, like it forms, but he's really not at the top. It's really like Nick and Jeremy and Howard that are making all the decisions, but then Nick gets thrown out, and then Jeremy is being Jeremy, and then Howard becomes a Pawn Star, and then McCrae just goes over to be with Amanda. So it's just like, and there was like really nowhere else for him to go at that point. Like, it's just he was fucked.
He was, yeah. I just don't think, if you're not sociable, if you're not a more extroverted, if you're a more introverted person, it's very unlikely that you're gonna perform good on Big Brother. That's just the game. You're in there for whole summer's length with people that are like different than you probably hang out with in your real life, and then you got to be sociable. If you're not, then like, especially early on, because first impressions are everything. So if you don't get that early on, then it's like, it's not good. So
Joey, where did he land on your list? Somewhere in the middle? Somewhere?
Yeah, no, he's towards the bottom.
Towards the bottom?
Yeah, most of
but
the
not the
players
very
are
bottom.
like mediocre. No, there's I think I had him, which tabs in check, but I know he was like above Robert.
Hearing that you have the list, when you said before that there were 6 people that who was
there's 6
Robert
and Nikki was someone I thought Robert was better, but you guys admitted that as well, and I'm happy that Robert's not going through, so who cares?
All right, well, let's get the wheel up and running for our final player of the day today.
It's going to be a miracle for him to be able to make it through, I feel like.
Would like a Chris Wiley.
Let's see if it can be a good day for Howard, or if someone's about to take him on out of the competition. And it's looking like he's going up against a BB Can player, Hamza.
This is awesome.
Not quite Chris Wiley, not BB Can 8.
No, this is probably better.
BB Can 6, which Aman, at one point, BB Can 6 was impossible to pull. We were not getting anyone from BB Can 6. And now, guess how many players are left? 1.
Damn. So we almost got rid of this season too. Dang.
It's Allie's left.
Allie's the only one left from BB Can 6 after all that. So let's see what the fate is for one Hamza. Aman, you ever play Sequester with Hamza? He was very active.
I don't think I've ever played with Hamza, no.
Watch that one. He got to the final 2 with one of the Willis sisters. I forget, Morgan or Alex.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He may have been in
the
celebrity game. Even though
I probably shouldn't be like quizzing you on the cast list of casts from some online games, but
if there was if there was one that I played with him, it would have been that one.
Okay. Well, he was very active after his season, getting back into some online reality games. But let's talk about his.
I have been on his podcast, the podcast that he had with Andrew and Marin. I did get a chance to talk with him. And they also had Lawan on as well, so I got a chance to meet with Lawan. But
what is his podcast called?
It's not active today.
It was called Minority Report. Yeah, him, Andrew, and Marin. They started it in 2020 during BB22.
They had some interesting clips, at least that I saw. Some interesting discussions along the way for sure. Harry's saying that both of them are 12th place here.
Oh wow! Okay, Battle of the 12s. Okay.
All
right.
Notes?
We do. Hamza, in week 2, he asked his ally Ryan to nominate him alongside his friend Andrew so that he wouldn't be backdoored, even though he lost the POV anyway. Hamza won the next HOH and nominated Olivia, as she was seen as strategic and a social threat, along with Jesse as a pawn. However, after deciding that Jesse wasn't trustworthy enough and a physical threat, his target switched to Jesse. Hamza was kept safe when his close friend and ally Erica won HOH in week 4, but he was later backdoored by Olivia in an 8-1 vote.
This is really interesting for me, Joey. I feel like this is a battle of like a passive player in Howard versus like a little bit of a chaotic player, to say the least, in Hamza. So
So this is
That
really
sucks
fun.
for
I
him.
love these characters that or these players that have like these very high moments and like they do very good in some aspects and then do like terrible in other aspects. I love talking about those kind of players more than the consistently good, mediocre, or bad players. So Enza is someone that I very excited to talk about.
Do you have memories of good gameplay from him, or is it just the
Well,
chaos?
I think it's a little bit of bias because I remember, well, I started watching BB Can because of you guys. I'm glad I did.
Oh
Very good
wow.
franchise. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, but when I started watching BB Can's, yes,
Six, yeah.
um, I had never like related to a player more than Hamza.
Ooh.
I think it was early on because it happened early in the episodes where he was like, they were doing an easy vote. I think it, I don't know, but he didn't want to do like the easy vote or go with the house or anything. He wanted to be like
Mm-hmm.
independent. As and I was like, yes, finally someone who's like wants to do something and not
Like the
wants to be a
Rosina
sheep.
vote. Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. That's what it was because it was early on. I remember. So I was like, I'm all in on Hamza. I hope he does well. And so I don't know if I can really call a lot of moments good, but I do remember just I think I liked the way that he played. He had that instinct and that skill that was just like I don't want to be a sheep. I don't want to follow. I don't want to appease anybody else. I want to just do what I want to do, which in some aspects is great to know what you want to do and to know what like is best for you. But in other aspects, it's not because he kind of like I feel like he had this kind of complex to him. I remember specifically on his HOH, um, and it was a conversation with him and Derek, I think. And Derek wasn't giving him a lot, but he was like, saying like I'm good with you, but wasn't having the most like strategic conversation that Hamza wanted to have. I feel like his expectations of people were so high. He wanted people to give him what he wanted, and if they couldn't, he was like, "All right, you're next." Because like immediately after that conversation, like he was like, "All right, Derek, you're on my list," and like in the confessional,
Yeah.
and like targeting Jesse was just like I think he had the right idea of trying to go after someone like Olivia because Jesse and Derek, that whole crew was like I think people he could have worked with, but he kind of shut that down because
Yeah, he like
Jesse, I think, was
recognized the
just like
power
intimidated.
structure and
Yeah.
instead of trying to like find a way into it, I think he just went after it,
Yes.
which you
Which
can
I
kind of
loved.
interpret both ways. I
Yeah.
can see I can see an argument for both ways to approach that, but
Mhm.
I guess trying to blow it up as early as possible was a worthwhile plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to give him credit, he did have some allies. Obviously the connection with Erica was great. And I think he had some kind of relationship with Paris. But it's not like he was hated. That's the thing that I appreciate is that he had this mindset and he was socially liked. The reason that he was targeted is just because he didn't have a lot of like tight allies and people kind of viewed him as a threat or a little intimidating because he was decent at comps. I think he won
Yeah, he
yeah, he
won
won three.
one HOH and two
Yeah.
vetoes in 27
So
days, so
yeah.
he was
And
active.
yeah, he was good. And he would have been a problem. So I think but like seeing him on sequester, I know it's not really equated, but you can just see it's just like, extra points on his
He's
resume.
Yeah,
It's
he's
just
got like
like
a fire hunger to like do well in these games or to play
yes.
hard, if nothing else.
Yes.
Oh, right.
And Amon, I feel like that desire to play hard was really visible in his season here.
Yeah. That's basically what I was gonna say is that I think he's one of those people that's kind of like over capable at Big Brother. Like
Mhm.
it's like he's like one of those people where it's like if you're playing with him, you just want to say, Hamza, I know, like calm down.
Yes.
Because he was just ready. He was like he had a plan. He knew the power dynamics. He knew who should go. He was good at like trying to force that kind of energy out of other people as well. He wanted people to like expose their fault lines. He wanted people to have the conversations that they would not have had if he didn't make the nominations that he did, or if he didn't leak the information that he did. Like he just really wanted things to move. And I think that positions you as a decision maker in the house, someone that is very visible in that way. So there really isn't any place for you to hide. And I think like being paired up with other people that are also kind of visible in other ways, like with Erica and the comps it just and unfortunately the whole thing with Andrew, with him having the twist of the heaven and hell thing, like I think he aligned himself with other people that were sort of similar to him, which just only raises his profile. So yeah, he's somebody that I think gets an all-stars call if BB Can was still in the air, like 100%.
He's got some Brendan in him,
Mm-hmm,
like that.
mm-hmm.
He's
Yep,
talking to you and not with you.
yep, yep.
But
He
great
definitely has
character.
that.
If you can ever comes back, I hope he's
Mm-hmm,
still, wanting to play. Another do call him. He'd be great.
mm-hmm.
But
Joey,
yeah.
do you have him above Howard on your list, or is that going to give away your vote?
Well, I do have him above, and I don't know if we're casting right now,
Yeah, you can
but
cast.
okay, yeah. I will be voting Hamza to go through, and just as a precedent for rounds to come. I don't know how deep Ham's going to make it. I don't expect him to make it past round two, but I think people who are strong-minded and fail like that are probably better than a lot of these mediocre players who are the passive players. I mean, because you put put Hams in a bunch of seasons, he'll probably get out early in a lot of them, but he's probably gonna like go deeper, win some of them, because that's topsy-turvy. But with a lot of
Mm-hmm.
these mediocre players that play passive, I think you guys talking about like Lauren, or someone said something about like Lauren could be close to winning. I don't think like someone like Lauren from 27 is ever going to win a season because they're just passive and indecisive, and it's like not going to win that way. So I will
Yeah.
always respect those people who can fail but have the potential to make big moves and play Big Brother and not sleepaway camp at the cool summer house.
Yeah. If
Um,
Hams is in the final two, it's hard to see a world where he doesn't get a handful of votes go his way
yes.
because he
So I'll
played
be voting
really
for
hard to
Hamza to
get
go
there.
through.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Mon, you want to go second or third?
I will go second, and I will also put my vote on Hamza. I think I agree with what you said. I think he can do better than what we've seen. And I think a bit of that is shown in even some of his sequester gameplay. Like some of it was like, okay, it was like Hamza, come on now. But then he would have those strokes of brilliance where we're like, okay, this is what we're talking about. So like I just feel like if there's just a little bit more containment with this guy, he does a lot of damage. So yeah, Hamza all the way.
Yeah, I'm going to vote for him as well. I think Joey said a lot of what I was thinking. If he gets there, I think let me say it's a harder road for him to get there for sure, because the passive player can go farther more likely than not. The player like a Hamza that sticks himself so far out there is going to have a lot of other players wanting to bop you back down. But in a season where what he's doing catches, if he catches the right allies at the right time, if he can march his way through the game playing as forcefully as he would like to play the game, then it's just going to more likely, in my mind, be more effective than Howard would be along the way. So Howard eliminated here, which does, again, close out Big Brother 15. Amon, remember when we started and Big Brother 15 was like flying
Popping up
through
like every
everywhere?
day.
That was like the front runner for a while.
It's slowed down a little bit, but we're done
Yeah.
now. And they end their run of the 16 players, 8 and 8. 8 have gone through, 8 stay behind. So
I think
that's the
fair
plan
for that season. Yeah.
Unless maybe Howard will win a battle back and maybe
Yeah.
he'll come back in. Who knows?
He's not in Roddy's, right?
Actually, he might be. I was
Well,
I was thinking that. I think actually this is the last episode
was the last one.
in the Roddy battle back. So
I don't know the one before this one.
yeah, you
What
haven't
happened
seen that one yet.
and what happened the other 3 episodes. Hopefully the 4th one was not bad. I noticed some people were not on the wheel and big names, so I know that they're gonna be out there. I'm hoping they won and didn't lose.
We'll see.
But
Joey, any final thoughts today?
yeah, assuming that if I never come back in here, but hopefully I do. If you need me for BB Can, I'll watch 11 and 12.
I would
maybe
do
dabble
that.
in the other ones.
12 I would tell you to watch. 11.
Yes, I'll watch. I watch if I can watch BB Can 8, I can watch BB Can 11.
That's fine.
But other than that, yeah, all I want to say is just when you're doing these battle backs, like I said, the players who are willing to do stuff give him the benefit of the doubt. The best players we've seen, like Dan, Will, we've seen them at the very bottom and sucking, and then like being the best, and that's people who win. That's what the message I want to put out there. Other than
Very good.
that, um, this podcast is great. Glad I joined. Glad I'm a patron. Um, yeah, I remember I went to the Survivor convention, talked to Brandon, and like the first thing I asked him was just like, "You on the Die Room podcast?" That was great. I like you on there. I love watching these. I love that they're twice a week now, so it's
Oh,
great.
for December.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
good,
Joey,
good
we
timing, though.
appreciate you in many ways. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for having me.
Excited to chat again soon.
Yes, hope so.
All right.
I'll
Thanks,
see you.
Joey. All right, let's recap what we had here today in our final episode of 2025. And yeah, I do believe the final episode in this round of Battleback voting. So if you are a patron, get ready to get those votes in. If you're not, you want to become a patron, good time to do so, because you'll get right into a Battleback vote. But also, we have a lot of fun stuff cooking up for round 2. Today, we just had Hamza from BBCan 6 go through over Howard from Big Brother 15, closing out BB15. We had Nikki Grahame, Big Brother legend, not just Big Brother Canada, Big Brother period legend, advanced to the next round over Big Brother 4's Robert, which closed out both BB4 and BBCan 4. We lost one from Big Brother 27 today in Ava Pearl as the husband of Rachel Riley, one of Ava's competitors in that season, would go on to advance today into round 2. And Aman, that's the day.
That is the day. How many winners do we have left? I know we have Will left. I know we have
left.
Dane left. I know
Yeah,
we have Misha Tate left.
Misha, yes. We also have Cody, that did not come up today. And we have Mike Boogie.
5 winners left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Misha, Dane. Yeah, you just said Misha, Dane, Cody, Boogie, and Will. Will, now that we don't have Will versus Dan to be a possibility in round 1, let's get Chilltown against each other in round 1.
Oh, you want Will versus Boogie? Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what would happen, so
let's do it. That'd be some sweet vindication after everything. I don't know, maybe not.
He has a restraining order.
Well, we do what we can. Well, that's going to do it for now. Check me out on the Free Agents podcast, talking all things the challenge. We're rewatching the challenge right now. We're talking about our best and worst of the year over there from 2025 as we close out this year. And we're going to be talking about the traders coming up very, very soon. So that will be fun. Just like Drag Race will be a lot of fun in this new year coming up over on RHAP. Mon should be there for that.
Yes, Drag Race should be in full swing in the next week or so. So make sure you check us out over there for all of the shady shenanigans.
Yeah, should be fun. And again, bonus content over on Patreon. A lot of fun stuff with the losers brackets and the Battleback result shows right now. Get to vote in the Battlebacks before we even get to those result shows. So patreon.com/the diary room. And if you want to support the podcast, that's a great way to do so. Also, make sure you're subscribed, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think of the matchups or anything in general. 5-star ratings and reviews. So many ways to help the podcast if you are enjoying it on a weekly basis. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you to Jenna and Harry and Joey for joining us today. But that's going to be it for today and for the year. But plenty more to come as we get ready to close out the round. Aman, let's go.
Yes. Our thanks once again to Jenna, Harry, and Joey, and all of our patrons that have contributed to the podcast, and all of our viewers in general. We thank you guys for being here. And until next time, guys, please go to the diary room and Happy New Year.